Black House Talk. Sanmolan,
Black House Talk.
how you
What's
doing,
up?
Prof?
I'm good. How you doing? Dylan?
I'm alright. We're not alone today. We've
Yeah,
got
we're never alone.
I guess, yeah, that's so true. Like I love how the truth just is.
Lives in everything.
It lives in everything. You're absolutely right, my friend. We've got a very like super serious person who's been doing what we do for like so many years. She's like,
Yeah, well, this is part two though.
yeah. Part one will be salvaged, but part two. This is part two.
What happened to?
Yeah. This
You
is
know
like
Logic?
literally
Explain
take
yourself.
two.
You know Logic, right?
Yeah, no logic. This very stable software.
So when you don't save and have two projects open, one of them doesn't save.
have you checked out the autosave?
I've done everything. I fucked up. I did not save.
We never fucked up, hands in the air.
Have you all fucked up? Bro?
At least,
Of course I fucked up.
you know. At least I always say this. I'm gonna say that I fucked up because I talk very loudly. I will not have somebody come behind my back and say, "But you fucked up there." I say, "I know I fucked up. Why are you bringing it up? Why are you bringing me down?" How you doing, Noni Malete?
I'm alright. I'm cool. And how's y'all?
You know, I miss you. I haven't seen you in a while.
Hey, Dubs.
I know, like this. She's become my best friend since episode 1.
We are big shot filmmaker coming from a filmmaker family. So yeah, this is like what are you third generation filmmaker?
No, second.
She's
Second
second.
generation.
Second. My kids are third.
Do you have kids that are making films now?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay, but before we get to your kids, let's start you. Like your mom was like a cinematographer in like the 80s.
Yeah, 80s. Then my aunt started in the 70s.
Like what shows did your mom do?
Mm.
And your aunts?
She was a writer. Her first show was Undenza Nimelwane, which was based on her experience out of living in White City, Jabavu, Soweto. It's like three houses in one. Three houses that are sort of like a duplex.
Yeah.
And next door there's like a preacher, next door there's a mechanic, next door there's a
everything
tavern.
in this one
Yeah,
place.
like in one unit.
Yeah.
So that was experience, and the word Mampinga, the character Mampinga, was born out of it, which was Somizi's mom.
Oh, really?
And yes.
So
And then what, she went and wrote to Ulu Lubuile,
Crazy.
the boxer that was a ghost, and he was
Didn't your
sort
aunt
of like,
also work on like the original generations?
yes. That was my aunt. My aunt started off as an actress because she was aspiring actress.
Yeah.
And then she met up with Tim Springs from Sky Productions with Helena Springs, and she started writing. Her first story was Lilimpopo Yesigo. That was based on our family and my mom, how she was not supposed to marry my dad. And that became a hit.
Quite a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all the characters, bruh, excluding the two leads.
Yeah.
All the other characters were the original names of the family members.
That's a
Like
shot, bro.
Uxola's mom was Unokwaka, which was my grandmother's mom, my grandmother's name. Utozi, my uncle, was the brother. You know, like everybody was given the family names, excluding the two leads. So it was quite blatantly out there that my dad wasn't supposed to get married to my mom.
Because your daddy was a rock star.
Yeah,
We'll get to him in a bit.
Was a player.
No,
Daddy
he's
was a
rock star.
soul man. You're Rolling Stone. So yeah, Auntie became one of the first black female directors in South Africa in the early 90s. She wrote quite a couple of things like from Linempopo. She wrote Emergency Man, Momoza, but you weren't born then.
I don't know. I was gonna say I know none of these shows, but like I love it for my older viewers.
Yeah. And
with this SABC, it was like
this
Bob
was
TV,
no,
and
this
or
was
TV1.
this was SABC or SABC 1 and SABC 2.
SABC was born in the early 90s, right? So before that, we had like
No, actually,
it was like
SABC.
TV1
So
or
there
what
was
was it?
TV1, TV2,
Yeah.
and TV3, and TV4. TV4 used to come up after 9, and then there was Bop TV.
Yeah.
right? Then at midnight you'd get like the color bars
Yeah, it'll be color
that the
bars
kids
until
don't know how
morning.
to find on set.
You guys are savage.
We
though.
literally grew up on color bars, bro.
I remember,
So
like, waiting
after
for cartoons.
yes, like you had you're in the heat of the night being dubbed into Afrikaans because after 9 everything that played was dubbed, most of it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And they didn't want us to actually just speak English.
Yeah.
Well, I call them the fun years because, you know, everything was sort of like censored. But anyway, Auntie wrote quite a lot and ventured into directing. She was a script supervisor. Mother died.
So wait, you're growing up and walking around SABC
Yeah, it was still
offices.
SAUK then.
SAUK.
Called, yeah,
What does
State
SAUK mean?
Afrikaanse,
Shit.
what's it?
None of this
Something,
4-3
something, yeah.
bullshit.
It was like proper Afrikaans, bro.
So like South Africa before I loaded.
No, but listen to this. As much as we say that apartheid was bad, it was bad for certain individuals. But to be honest, all those families that were learned and that were sort of like moderate,
Yeah.
that had some form of money, they a lot of people didn't experience apartheid like a lot of people actually say that apartheid was that bad. Because remember, South Africa had the perks of becoming the 3rd cleanest country in the world,
Yeah.
right? Joburg was the cleanest city in the world back in the 80s.
Yeah.
There was no jailwalking, there was no rioting there in town or whatnot. And I grew up in town, so this whole numbnuts nonsense of like there were no black people in town and you had to be out of town by 4:00, it's BS because we lived in town in the 80s,
Yeah.
early 80s. I'm talking
Yeah.
about 1980 to be specific,
Yeah.
right? And I've lived in town all my life.
Even
So-
in Durban town.
Hey?
Even in you lived in Durban town though, like after that.
You know what I mean? So like it's not like the Maponya family, guys, has always had shops. There's black people that are always been well off. It was
Yeah.
never about being Mpimpi or being whatnot, but there were those South African citizens that were just adhering to the codes and conducts of those times,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, these ladies, they're my aspiration. My auntie died up shortly after she did Ityala la Mawele, which is now most recent. It's what 2010, I think,
Really?
2008, somewhere there. That was the last project that she directed. And mother died as a PM and a cultural executive, cultural advisor for Ingombo Yeminyanya in 1990.
Jesus.
So when did you start getting into the film industry?
I was sort of like always in the film industry without knowing
Yeah.
it. And I
You're
hated
like,
the
"Yeah,
film
read
industry.
these lines.
Yeah,
Like what is it?
dude, like I hated primarily after my mom died, I hated anything to do with film, so I was rebellious. I was like, I'm not going into this world because I sort of like blamed it for
Yeah.
taking her away from me. And then I started working back into it around about 93 actually, when I
Yeah.
had my firstborn. Because I had my firstborn whilst doing my matric, and I had to drop out of school. And
So you turn like high
so-
school or you turn
high
like,
school.
Damn.
right, I had
It's
to
like
drop
you
out of
say
high
it so
school.
casually now because it's like so many decades ago. you
Yeah.
know, but it was-
And
it
my
wasn't that
grandmother,
easy. I just
my
dropped out of
my
school.
grandmother's like very strict. I hated my grandmother at that point. I was like, "You're a nurse. You should get me an abortion pill or something." But she was like, "No, you're having this baby and you're going back to
my
school."
grandchildren? Like,
You know,
Nah, I don't believe in the Lord.
Yeah.
We ain't sacrificing no baby.
dude. So went to school afterwards, and then my godfather, who is still alive, bless his soul, and it is just his birthday on the 19th of November. I didn't say happy birthday this year.
Because
Sean
you're a
Moodley.
horrible child.
No,
I'm joking,
I
I'm
lost
joking.
I lost my tens for him, but I'll get to him on
Yeah.
Facebook. Sean
the
Moodley,
new yellow pages.
the
bro.
guy
Sorry,
who did who owned Prime Media International and who also co-produced Gandhi with Anand Singh, is my godfather.
Doug, why do
So-
you like name dropping so much? You just always name
Her
dropping.
family is a name drop.
I am a name. I am a name to be dropped, by the
Christ,
way,
Doug.
yo.
I carry on. Sorry to
All
cut you
right,
off.
so Sean then as a godfather, him and my godmother, Amy, took me back to school. So I started now working as a video librarian for his company
Yeah.
and went to Mnet and back and forth. And, like there was VHS, mother
Everything was
buffers,
taped.
like everything was taped, right?
Yeah.
So
No
you
doubt.
have to
This is-
label the tape and you have to have a system from A to Z. And then you have to like sort of take the master copies to go and be copied and then bring the master copies back. And then it was boring for me as a child, right? But I got to see like a lot of cool
Yeah,
people.
and you could understand workflow
And
as
I
well.
could understand starting to work on a work etiquette, sort of like professional vibes, because
Yeah.
I was getting a salary from it
Okay.
whilst being in school.
Yeah.
And then my aunt was like, nah, you're going to come and be my assistant.
You ready?
You ready? I was like, not ready. Then I started training under her, continuity by then. And then she got sick and she was like,
What is
okay.
continuity for somebody that doesn't know?
Continuity is your script supervisor. It's your person that becomes the bridge barrier between set and
Post-production.
post-production.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Meaning that you're the secretary that jots down everything that that happens
reducing
on
it to
screen.
Secretary.
Yes, you are. I
is
saw
general
it. I
secretary,
saw
like,
it
it
as
is.
being
You
a
have to
general
keep the
secretary
minutes and
because
everything.
you're also letting production know of how much work scope has been done for the money value aspect,
Yeah.
and then you're also letting post-production know how many scenes and how many shots and how many setups have been done.
Where is that shot?
Yeah, you see.
Really?
Yeah. So you like the general secretary that keeps everything, you the mother glue. And you
Yeah.
become also a very fast technical director because you get to sit and learn from different directors next to you. You get the first-hand seat, the front row seat out of like, how do the actors block? How do they rehearse? How do they run their lines? Are their clothing still in continuity? You even check a collar. If it's sitting the way it was sitting on the wide shot to the close-up. You have to check screen direction. You have to check, is this person right to left or left to right? You have to check like hair continuity. Did Nonnie have her hair straight down, or when she left, she had a pony? Like you have to check makeup. You have to check props, which are like these mics. This it's a person that needs to be superly, utterly focused.
Yeah.
Yeah, meticulous.
Or
And meticulous.
Or a really high functioning drunk. But
Yes, most of us are.
I'll stop
That being
medicating through
said-
this life bullshit.
yes. So then continuity, and then you take up your aunt on continuity.
Yeah, so started working professionally and earning the big bucks in like 1994, I think.
So now you've made it.
No, 6 years before 96 was
90.
90, right?
1990,
So I literally started making some money in 90.
yeah.
On the first set, it was an Omo commercial, and I met up with Neil Sandstrom, who was back then like the director for commercials, and this dude was like driving a drop top Audi, and I'm like, hey, looking at him,
was
thinking
living the
one day, Baba, I mean, I'm gonna drive this car one day. And by the end of that session and that day, this dude said to me, in 6 years' time, I'd like to work with you. Little did I know that in 1996, he was going to be the creative director for Jacob's Cross.
Yeah. I remember Jacob's Cross.
Yes, and he apparently interviewed all the nonnies in Joburg.
Looking for you.
Looking for me because all the
What movie did
non-tantas,
you give him, bro?
all the non-tantas, guys. So what happens is in Joburg, all the non-tantas, the non-pillows, and the what, all you fake nonnies, please stop calling yourselves nonny when you get to Joburg. It is not fair because like there's so many fake nonnies out there that we've caught two nonnies that were trying to impersonate me,
Yeah.
like work-wise, with my resume. They downloaded my resume
That's crazy.
and went to the places that I've actually gone to work at and claimed to be me.
Did any of them ever get employed though?
Never. There's,
Okay.
I mean, there's
that would
only
be
one
interesting,
me, bro.
being Noni. It's like-
So I guess maybe my name is worth dropping at some point because, yeah, Neil. Anyway, I got to work with Neil, and that was the startup of my beautiful, blissful career. Did in 2001 my first feature. It was 2000, I think, Gums and Noses from Tom Pictures, which was like your coke. You're breaking boundaries type of a movie where this guy is a cokehead and is
Gosh,
using, and like South Africa wasn't ready for that, and it made it big. Akina Matoso actually directed that with Robbie Thorpe, Khomoto Matsunyana, and Omatoso was also part of Tom.
All right.
So that was like crazy times for me, because then it dawned onto me that now I'm a professional script supervisor. I have to guard other people's work.
Yeah.
And from there, I've never actually looked back.
And now, any more interesting chapters in between them? What happens after that?
She got married. She popped out like 3 kids.
For
Oh
3
my-
kids after the first
Like
one.
So then life happens. Well, okay, you started your career, life happens.
Yeah.
Then your next big moment is what?
you have 4 kids, bro.
I've got like, dude, between me and having kids and being with somebody for 21 years, I don't know how why I'm still alive right now. I don't know how I made it through all these years.
So maybe tell us how.
This was a chapter marker of selling drugs, right? So at
I'm
what point does this happen?
Yeah, the marriage, the selling drugs, and the other 3 kids. Like, yeah.
So there was the rebellious time, right? Where I was like, I hate the industry because it took my mom and her death was very brutal and all of that. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing this. And then I met up with this Nigerian dude called Emeka.
Are you
right?
being stereotypical?
Yeah. Met up with Nigerian dude at actually I was taking a walk down memory lane on that particular day. I walked in my old street in Perea, and then it was infested with these guys. But to me, they looked like, DuckTales, Uncle Scrooge and his nephews. Their haircuts looked so weird, and I kept on laughing. And this dude came up to me and was like, yo, what up? And he asked for my tens. Obviously, then I didn't have a cell phone at that point, and he had a cell phone and a Nokia, the banana one. You remember the
One from
that
the
big
Matrix.
ass one.
Yes. And he had that phone, and I was like, I'm still hung over the Motorola, and you already moved on to Nokia. And then
Oh, I did.
we dated with the dude for like a month. Oddest thing, there used to be all these girls coming in and out of his place, and they would go to the bathroom, and I was curious. I was like, what are they doing in the bathroom? It's like, no, there's some business that I'm up with. And then I found out what the business was. I was like, okay, cool. You're dealing in drugs. Okay, all right, I see you. And then it was a whole fresh world for me.
Did you walk away when you found out he was dealing drugs?
No, it was a fresh
That's when it got
world for me. That's when it got exciting.
Like,
I was
ooh,
like,
so clear. Do you know where the danger is?
So I
Straight to the
aspired.
danger.
I aspired to become now the kingpin,
Yeah.
right? Because if I have
You're
to
like,
do
I've seen
something,
this movie before. This
yes,
is the
because
role I'm
I'm a like your Godfather type of girl. Like, hey, you know what I'm talking about. So I aspired to actually go into the syndicate.
Yeah.
And deal with like all of these big things and see how shit is run.
Yeah.
I started off very low bar there by cooking. I mastered cooking, and then I was the cook. Because I
So
could
when you say
cook
cooking, so what does
cook like The Rock.
So what?
like whole.
So what do you get like raw ingredients?
Yes.
Is that what comes in?
Yes.
And then after that, that's when the actual process of creating the cook begins.
Mm.
That's crazy.
So like you'll get pure coke. You
So I didn't know
cut,
the
it's
cooking
already
happened
cut.
here in our
It's
country.
already
Like,
cut.
It
And
comes in all
there's
different types of ways.
bicarbonate
Yeah.
of soda involved, baby powder involved, and all of that. For me, it was a scientific experience, and I loved science at school. So for me, it was like, cool.
So
I
you're
can
cutting.
do this. No, it comes already cut.
Oh, so from yes.
So you've got a scale. You've got a gram scale that you measure with and put all the ingredients according to the measurements. And I became so good that I had my own cooking shop and I was independent by then.
Sure.
So you could bring your own merchandise and I'll mix it up for you and get you a full on rock that does not break.
Sure.
Because
So what,
apparently
does that speak to the purity or how the quality of it?
I still had the quality of it and I still had the purity of it, but my measurements were somehow a little bit extra than any other person. So I found, you could say, a market niche.
Sure.
For
Sure.
myself?
So you could make more from people's ingredients than other people could from that same ingredients.
And it was also about the substance not breaking.
Yeah.
So I could make like full on rocks that you could travel out of town with and they wouldn't melt, they wouldn't break. And that's how I climbed the ladder very fast. And before you know it, I was being offered like, do you want to go to London? Go and get us this and that. And I was like, no.
Go to London.
Yeah. Like go to London, go to Brazil. I was like, no,
What, to
I'm going to
cook
keep,
there?
no,
Oh,
to
dude.
bring in.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
that's
so I was
now you're
like,
playing with
nah,
your freedom for real.
I'm not gonna mule it out. I know of 2 people that muled it and they got arrested. So I was like sort of like a pussy when it got to that part.
Yeah.
And then
getting
I was like,
arrested in
because I already
prisons
have my
overseas is no
market niche
joke.
of actually cooking, why am I even
Trying to
muling?
Trying to be, yeah,
Why am I
okay.
diverting? So I chose, besides when business ought to be dry at some point and they've all ran out of stash, then I would commute in between and deliver.
Yeah.
I'd pick up a package from the airport, take it straight to its owners, and I make an easy 20K for that,
For the risk.
for the risk, without crossing borders, without
And the
going
airport
anywhere.
Sometimes stops cars.
You know, and this was fun to a certain degree when they started like scanning people and checking buses and what all of that. So I was like, okay, cool.
become too
I'm
high
gonna be
risk.
too smart, but they're gonna catch me one of these
Yeah.
days. So I walked away. Yeah, I think it was 98. When I just had my second born. I had my second born in 97. When I had him, I was like, you know what? Actually, this is now time to slow the fuck down. This, because a lot of people around me,
Almost technically speaking, your second born saved your life.
yeah, he did. Because a lot of people were also getting nicked.
Yeah.
They were getting arrested. Like a lot of people were getting, there was stitches.
Syndicate.
There was snitches within our syndicate. It wasn't safe. But at least I had made such a nice, wholesome experience for myself that I knew the right players and hence I couldn't get arrested. If I had to be killed, if I could get arrested and snitch, I would be killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to walk away. They actually said you are allowed to walk away as long as you never reveal till you die what our names are.
God damn.
Yeah, like the bigger bosses, which I would never. I don't have a death wish
Yeah.
on my
She's
head.
life.
Yeah,
Are they still alive?
yeah.
God damn.
What, you guys still in touch, or you just bump into them every now and
I
then?
bump into
Like,
them.
yeah, you
now
looking great on
once in a-
Facebook. Or what is it?
Hey, good.
No, I bump into some of them now and again, and you know, like even my ex, I still bump into him now and again.
And he's still in the same game.
Nah, well, I don't know. You can never know with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he claimed he was clean.
What would you say you took from life in the underworld?
The underworld has got something that currently we don't have. And it's the level of, I wouldn't call it respect. It's sort of like a unity. So what would happen in any organization or syndicate is that if you as a person are in trouble, your problems are everyone's problems.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you get it's kind of
Yeah,
similar
because
Do you
you don't-
understand?
to
Yeah.
crypto. If
'Cause, like, you don't
it's bad
fall
for
alone.
you,
Yeah.
it's bad for all of
Yes,
us.
and there's this unilateral type of synergy that goes with that. Like you don't find drug dealers that are poor. You don't find them. You can't find them because if you out of stash, he will give you stash or I'll front the both of your stash. You will owe me, both of y'all. And then up until you've paid your debt from me, then you can still come and buy from me again.
Yeah.
So it's always like
Consignment.
it's a precise consignment. And there's, if you look at that type of a world and this
Yeah.
current fake life world that we live in, whereby people are busy posting, I'm sipping on pina coladas whilst your fridge is empty. People are scared to ask for help. They don't uplift
Yeah, it's
each
two
other.
different
It's too different.
cultures.
We're too competitive. We're too rigorous. Um, we're too woke, man.
Too individual.
Too independent, and too, that it's become a facade. It's become a cliche to some degree for me, that I don't know who to trust these days. There's no longer that genuine friendship. There's no longer that genuine family, we ride or die, motherfucker. Like in a proper underworld, bruh, it's till death do us part. And this, even your
So
kids
they
know this.
understand the sense of community and family more so than
They've got
the
more.
the civilized
This
world,
is
I guess, in
why
that sense.
when there's drug wars
Yeah.
or there's any wars in between, like syndicates, you'll see that a whole team of people will actually go and attack the other team.
Yeah.
They never go out ones and ones. They protect each other. They'll protect their kingpin. They'll protect their generals. There's always a circle, and then there's an inner circle.
Yeah.
And nowadays, what we live in is every man for himself.
Everybody's their own circle.
Yeah.
It's
And we
crazy.
also lie about it. Like in underground world, there's no lies.
Yeah. Because
You are what you are.
Lying has consequences
Yes,
almost
yes,
as well. So
yes.
almost
So, yeah,
immediate
you can't
ones.
risk it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
it's very
the
true.
two vast type of things that I've noticed as an individual that I can't.
Yeah, I think as individuals, because we spend so much time on the screen, and I say this just from watching myself, it's like when you're on your screen, you're not in the world. You're in your head, in your own world. So people become characters in your world.
Yeah.
They don't become human beings. They're just characters. You did this to me. I hate you. Until you
We're so animated in falsification.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and
but
it's-
also like just the narrative that's been sold to us that you actually shouldn't need people.
yes.
So when in
independent
actual reality, you actually need people. Like,
Dude,
you
my
cannot be
life started
happy.
coming together when I started hanging with people with aligned goals and values.
Yeah.
So there's a saying that says, a child it takes a community to raise a child. And I see a lot of people only using that when it suits them. But in actual sense, it's your everyday
Life.
norm,
Yeah.
right? But it surprises me that I can find in this day and age somebody who lives like you reside in this building, and you would know your next door neighbors, you would know your caretaker, you would know like who owns the building, you would know even the cleaners, but you live and reside in this building. I can tell you that I've got a nosy neighbor downstairs. I've got my landlord that I sort of like. I've got the other one that does Pilates on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I've got that other person that does. Do you know, like
You can't live in a
you
building
can't live
and
in
be
a
secluded
building
and
and be
nobody knows.
secluded.
You need to say hi to people. You need to be like, hey, I've bumped into you a few times. What's your name? Like,
You
okay, now
see?
we've said hi to enough to ask each
Thank
other
you.
names.
And this is why a lot of people, I think, are offing themselves. A lot of people are depressed.
sense of
A lot of
community is
people,
gone.
the human element.
Yeah.
No, we see it in relationships, like some of our and it's like we all come from different places, you know. So some of our, like, we bring in new people to our lives, like girlfriends, new friends, and you can see like they're not used to being part of a community where
Yeah.
because you're with Prof, I can break your balls
Yeah.
because I break Prof's balls, and by extension, you should be as cool as Prof.
Yes.
Because I'm not at no point trying to push you down. I'm just fucking with you.
yes.
If you
Kind
think
of like what a brother would do to a sister.
Exactly.
Or another brother.
exactly, so because Prof's my brother, I look at him and treat him like my brother. So by extension, because he loves you, I love you, and generally we love all human beings. There's no like, so the minute you move away from, the minute you're in a space and you feel somebody's pushing you down, like, are you the only one that feels like that? or that's the problem, is that like people love pushing people down and don't realize that they
So-
don't like the same thing.
So my take is that a lot of people have now placed themselves on this pedestal here, that they feel that they've got the right to push people down.
Yeah.
So nowadays, if you're not on Bitcoin, you're not on crypto, you're not wearing a lace frontal or blah blah blah. You don't have manicured
A
thingy.
BBL.
You know, yeah, you're not a BBL. You don't have a tiny waist, and like you don't have followers. You're non-existent,
Yeah.
right?
So that's
And this is now what society has been made out of. Like you have to be, we're no longer coexisting, we're incoherent, right? So meaning that a lot of people are like taking this falsification of a lifestyle and saying, yes, I mean, I'm all for the independent girl, the one that works, the one that's trying to get a car license, the one that's trying to get a career. But don't forget that you still need a man in your life.
it's
You
interesting.
still need to, coexist with men. Not all men are trash. Not all men are dogs. And what does it say about this whole fucking meaning of saying all men are trash, whereby you are fathered by a man?
No, the thing is, once somebody says that, you can clearly see Guti, they have no thoughts of their own. When you can vividly tweet that, and sometimes some girls tweet it jokingly, and it's very
But
obvious.
it's very offensive,
I
bruh,
understand.
for a woman who's got two male children.
Wait, let me tell you, because all it shows you is that some because some of them really believe with all men are trash. Because once you ask them, have you been with all men, for you to know? No, but it's from my perspective, from my limited experience of the world, I think all men are trash.
Listen, women have always had, most women have had daddy issues. Okay?
Yeah.
They must stop projecting daddy issues onto other people's children. Now, as much as women have had daddy issues, men have also gotten daddy issues. There's a lot of young men out there who weren't raised by their own dads.
Yeah, competing with
understand?
their friends.
Yeah.
There's always been a lot of guys who have been adopted by the uncles society. Do you understand? Who never had an opportunity to be raised by their own dads. I love the whole versatility of seeing young dads these days own up and step up and actually being there and present in their kids' lives.
Yeah.
Unlike the 70s society that was all about, I bring the money home, I can go fuck around and do whatever I want.
Like they weren't being present. in
They
the
weren't
family's
present because for them it was like, it's cool to be a dad as long as you put the food on the
I take
table.
care of my family.
I take care of my family. They're not hungry. They're not,
Yeah,
and
the
what's
dynamics
this
were different,
attention
though.
thing?
Yeah.
And then now dynamics are reversed. And I see this happening. It's like we have, with all this power to women and power to whatnot, this feminism that's like sort of like risen up, we have de-emancipated men.
Yeah.
And we've put men, the roles for me seem like they are now reversed. More men are staying at home watching over the babies. More men are like saying, okay, I give up. I'm just going to be a guy and just take care of my child. And you can be the man of the family because you want to be that man. And now there's all these women that are so like, I'm independent, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm
You
that.
know
and
what's funny is that all of their independence templates come from men. So they
Thank you. So
they end
I was
up-
about
It's
about to
it's
go
like a queen
there.
trying to be a king.
That I know a lot of people
King
are gonna
P.
hate me for this, and they're gonna call me a sexist cow or whatever. But
Misogynist.
guys, a misogynist or whatever, I don't give a shit. Actually, listen. There's never been two lesbians that without an introvitro or what yabona leya nto leyo yokufaka isperm yangithola. Yeah, in vitro, infernal vitro, whatever. Yeah, that one. Yeah, well, it's something like artificial insemination, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there ought to be two ladies that are married and they happily married, but they want a baby, they cannot grind themselves to pregnancy.
There needs to be some sort of man.
There needs to be some artificial insemination that happens there, right? Cool. We're on the same par. Two boys, flamboyant boys, can love each other and get married, I say nyalang le nyeleng kaofela lona. Like, let's all get married and be fucked. It's fine. Two flamboyant boys get like happily married. They've got the stats, they've got the money, but they want to raise a child. If not for adoption, then they've got to get a surrogate.
Yeah.
And also, or maybe possibly do the artificial insemination, right? They've got those three options, right?
Yeah.
So, guys, we're reproduction of human beings, right? We still need each other. So can we stop and tone it down a bit with this men are dogs, men are trash, women are this? This name calling is like, I feel like we're in a society whereby women are calling men names, men are calling women names. You know the memes, futhi le gender. Hey, le gender. You know this gender. Hey, le
Fuck you,
gender.
nigga.
Who that
Fuck you,
gender?
bitch.
Like fuck you,
Fuck you,
nigga, fuck
nigga.
you, bitch. And it's
Fuck
all
you,
about.
bitch.
For me, it's just noise, guys.
Yeah.
It has become unnecessary fucking noise. Can
is.
everybody shut the fuck up and try and get like 100 out of 100 out of their grades? Let's start right there.
No, but grades are not gonna give me a Bentley.
Because these fuckers, they don't even know that, like, the society currently is being crippled by education, and people don't even know that we are no longer raising the next generation of presidents.
I mean,
Which is another systematic fucking issue,
Yeah.
topic to be discussed another time, another day. But like, so everybody is so is marginalizing this fucking forex and this sweet life yoktwala and all of that shit.
Yeah,
like,
we can't all do that.
we can't all
can't
do
all be
that.
rich, bro.
We can't all be rich. Can we understand that even about Tokyo, they were given the platform of, do you want to become a politician or do you want to become a business soldier for us? Go and learn from other countries how business is run.
Yeah.
This is how Tokyo has been repaid to become the president. It's because he was always a member of ANC, but he opted for going international and learning the skills trade
so you can donate.
so that he can come back and actually donate. There's a lot of them that all went abroad and actually studied business and owned chains of
jobs at big
businesses
companies,
and then
yeah.
came back and contributed. So, like, not all of them were always sitting in parliament speaking fraught English.
Yeah.
You know, like right now, if you look at parliament, bro, it's like a fucking Comedy Central.
It's a retirement
Yeah,
home.
but
You know,
every
it's
parliament
Comedy
is a Comedy
Central for me. Like, I can't believe that we're actually voting for these people. I've never, I don't even want to go into that,
into the politics of
into the
voting.
politics.
How
of
was
this country.
voting in 1994? You voted?
I
Why not?
never. There was nobody to vote for.
You never voted for the ANC?
See, this is the problem with
No,
knowing too much.
I didn't.
Sometimes knowing too much information
Because
makes it
I knew,
debilitating.
Why?
I
No,
knew
like,
exactly what's happening right now was
the
going
more
to
you
happen.
know, the harder it is to be like the more you
Remember
know, the
we
more
were
you can
too
see where
conscious.
all the fuckery is.
Remember
And
we
when
were
you see all the
too
fuckery is like
conscious,
every
right?
single decision is fucking me. So you're like, I'd rather not make a choice. So it's like,
Even not making a choice is a choice itself.
Listen, I always say this to any politician who says to me, my vote has gone to waste. I say, I contribute to my taxes freely and willingly. It's not a snag for me because there are people who need that money for grant. There are those people, it helps keeps the lights on in hospitals. It does do a lot of things, you know, your tax money, right? I do my taxes like blatantly with freedom and pride, and I'm a South African all the way for my taxes. I will contribute to society to my own accord as an individual. Like, I train people that have known nothing about this industry, and then I train them in order to be my equals, right? I give to people that are much more needier than me, like diligently, without fading or phrasing out or being plumpous about it. So I do, as a citizen of this country,
play your
I do
role.
my part without being told, without being coerced, without feeling like it's a snag or, you know, it's a must or whatever. I do my due diligence. And I've never, out of my 4 kids, I've never applied for grant. I tried applying for NSFAS. I was told I don't qualify,
Missing meal.
you know? So what did I do? I paid. So I contribute to any president's fucking salary. And I've got the right to reserve my vote up until I see somebody great to vote for. Right now, it's all Mickey Mouse for me. Like, I think I would make a better president if I was a guy.
Not as a woman. Why do you say
No.
that?
So it is true that female presidents are not to be trusted, because if you clap my child, you smack my child, I am no longer a president. I'm a mother.
Yeah.
You understand? We take shit like literally seriously
So you're saying
as
that,
women.
So you're saying that a female president shouldn't have kids?
Listen, I'm saying
So
there
you-
should not just be a female president at all. What happens already? We are very hormonal.
Misogynist. You're
we,
misogynist.
we are very hormonal. Listen, we've got moods. I've been a woman for as long as I was born, so I get moods. I get moods when I'm going on to my PMS. Imagine somebody threatening me with war and I'm on my PMS. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to
I
you?
mean, there's methods. Like, I mean, there's certain male presidents who can get drunk and try start a war, like Nixon. You know,
Look,
like,
men.
and then
I'm sure Trump
You-
was drunk a couple of
yeah,
times.
Trump
Listen,
doesn't drink. Trump doesn't drink.
men, this is where this is where I'll be feminist, right? And say men can do stupid shit, but they can be called back into order. As women, whether when they into, have you ever watched that show where they say
woman
who's
scored.
the daddy?
A woman
Who's the
scored.
daddy? The DNA says you are not the father. But this woman is, instead of her apologizing, she will fucking run away and go and still fight with you in the street and say that test was inaccurate. Do you understand that Abafazi, they will die in the shame of it rather than say, I'm sorry and admit to it and move on?
I mean, Angela Merkel was cool, bro.
Like,
No, but then I have to look at the male leaders we currently have and how many of them were actually willing to apologize for anything.
look, right now we are in the society of doom because the good ones, unfortunately, are gone. And it needs an uprising of the new ones that are now currently looking at the old ones who are saying, okay, stop. Hammer time. Like on a literal sense though. A lot of people were hating on Operation Tutula,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And saying that it's xenophobic,
Divisive.
it's violent, it's blood. They've managed to sort of like tone down Tlantlalax, right? Because they've been threatening his family and all of that and all of that and all of that gang. But what that guy was simply saying is that any country, and I know this, if you look at all the countries in Africa that are independent right now,
Yeah.
without a civil war breaking out, us tearing each other apart
have to
and
break it to
fighting
put it back
for
together.
the
Recess,
right of
proper,
good.
a proper recess.
Yes, proper
Yeah.
recess. We have not even scratched the surface yet.
But
It is inevitable. It's coming, bro.
It's like out of chaos comes order.
Out
type
of
thing.
chaos, there needs to be order because these cats have done this way too repeatedly. It's a repetitive cycle of just monies will go and nobody will ask because black people are supposed to be forgiving, right?
yeah.
They've shut down so many communities, so much progression into our little net. And remember, Africa has always been the Garden of Eden for the international waters. So we've got minerals, we've got shit, we've got food, we've got everything that we
gang,
can
gang.
trade. We can trade literally anything, motherfucker, from Nigeria, Ethiopia to
Yeah, without
South
leaving the
Africa
continent.
without anybody. We're supposed to be the billionaires.
But they take
Of
our
food.
ingredients and go cook
Yeah.
them elsewhere and then sell
Thank
them
you.
back to us.
Thank you. So, because we don't have people that are willing to stand up and say, no,
You're
nah,
gonna get
bruh.
shot.
So now what is happening is that these kids are getting tired. Our kids, not my generation. My generation was all about let's find our own voice. My generation is the generation that fought for we fought for equalism in terms of I will not be spoken down to in the human rights manners.
Yeah.
We fought for
I'm not a second-class citizen.
we're no longer a second-class citizen, but that whole train had already left the station, so we were carrying forth the baton.
Yeah.
So we ended it, right? And then the next generation, which is now our kids, they are fighting because we were fighting for validation,
Yeah.
basically. Our kids now are fighting for what is communally right.
What do you mean by that?
Communally right means it's no longer about me fighting for myself to be rich all by myself and have crypto and Bitcoin and drive a Bentley and blah,
Oh,
blah,
yeah.
blah.
You're
Oh,
talking about
yeah.
building up the-
My child is fighting for
Community
communities
wealth.
to
Community
stop
wealth.
having shacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Communities to stop fucking going hungry and having flies and having quashas
yeah, I'm with that
because
fight.
there is a fucking system in place that's not being used. You can see how verbal these young cats are right now, the young kids right
must
now.
fall.
Fees must fall. They are going back to basics. They've digested the fucking constitution. They've gone back to saying, listen, all of the bullshit and fuckery that you promised our mothers,
Saifu?
Saifuna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are now the shift is now communal. It's no longer like us right now who are saying independence.
Each generation is fighting for different things.
Yes.
Well, at least the fighters are fighting for different things.
I think the
Hey.
fight never ends. It's just like the old players retire and the new players come in. And, I think that's the beauty of like, you're like years apart from us, but you can pick up that we're the same energy that you've always like found from people, even though we're younger. So you'll teach us whatever you've learned in the game. By the time you retire,
And I learn shit from you all the time.
but as what I'm getting to is because it's a give and take. We're teaching you, we're keeping you alive for the next 20 years, and you're giving us information for the next 60 years. So it's like a give and take.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, my
man.
brain literally did the maths, and I'm like, 60, bro? I'm like, 90? 90?
So-
I'm like,
So again, I'm
Trends.
saying you want to be working for 90 years, 60 years, not die.
Trends this day and age, guys. I'm finding, just to divert the situation and the actual conversation, I'm finding Durban very dry when it comes to male counterparts. Why is that?
oh, Durban is a different culture.
Why?
But
Why?
Singo's been
Why
here longer
are
than
they-
me. Do you care to enlighten us,
Guys,
sir?
please enlighten me why I cannot get laid in Durban, because
I think for
in
you, you're too
Joburg,
cultured.
in
You're too
Joburg,
cultured.
we
Yeah,
always
she-
look at the Zulu nation as the most romantic. Like we call the Zulus in Joburg the French,
Do you?
Yeah, but
Yes,
it's the
because-
Zulus that have been outside of KZN.
because
And
those
have
cats,
acclimatized outside
those
of KZN.
cats in Joburg, when they come to Joburg, right? They're like so original, so cultured, so like I need ukshela. And in Joburg, Joburg streets don't have time for ukshela or
Yeah.
courting, by the way. And then you still find cats that are willing to court you and talk to you like you the only girl in the world. And then you get here, all of them have shut the fuck down. Like,
No,
what
you're
is
dealing-
happening?
You're dealing with their brothers that have never left KZN.
So what is wrong with them still carrying forth the tradition?
And I'm speaking for myself when I say this. When I left KwaZulu Natal and went to go live outside of the province, what I found is I had to. What I saw was that what I thought and saw was culture. A solid, permanent culture is not culture outside of, let's say, Ikaya. And I think that's a greater travel. I think that's the true beauty of travel, is seeing what is human as opposed to what is socially
So
constructed.
basically, you're saying the culture that dominantly exists here disappears when people decide to start traveling.
When the rules you hold dearly are not held by everybody around you, you're forced to change.
But that's the thing. In Joburg, that is where they instill their tradition and culture,
No, but the individual
us,
the individual can cut his hair
and
like
we
this.
are like,
The individual can
wow,
cut his hair
there
like
are
this.
still Zulu traditional men out there that can court you, that can talk to you. Umuntu athi, "Ntokazi, kunjani?" You know, like
So
Sawubona.
Wait,
Like there's
that
somebody who
way.
said to me, "Uyindonya manzi," and I had to Google that shit because I was about to punch him dead in his face.
And he's lying to you.
Right? No, he wasn't lying to me. I'm a fucking
what's in Donya
beauty.
Man's?
Idonyama is a dog beauty.
Yeah, well,
You're not a
it's
dog beauty.
listen here. He said I'm Andonia Manzi,
I
which
could be
was
wrong, but I in my
no,
head,
it's a
dog
natural
beauty.
beauty. Apparently, it is. I googled it, and it was saying that I'm a beautiful woman, and I didn't understand how could a man just tell me, compliment me like that. But only Zulus get away with that,
The
right?
language is beautiful. It's like French for European people.
Yes. So it baffles me that I am now all for saying, yay, Durban, going to Durban and gonna find me, maybe a soulmate or whatnot. And then I get here, it's pussies that I'm finding.
Durban is generally like, Prof made me realize this because he spent the first year going, Durban. I'm like, oh, that's
Oh no, yeah, I was frustrated. And,
He's
Like-
frustrated from moving from a fast global like city to Durban is essentially filled with people
I
from,
love the
from
calmness.
outside the city, essentially.
do you like it on your set? I thought so.
So it
That's where my frustration is. Do you like it when you're trying to get your bill? Like, or just trying to order something at a restaurant? But it's okay.
I met my girlfriend because the service in Durban is bad. Like I don't complain about
Durban
it
is
much.
good. Durban is good, guys, because I've found the feminine side of me in Durban. I can wear a dress proudly in Durban and not feel like I have to be fast forwarding somewhere or whatnot.
But that's what I'm saying happens to the Durban gent in Joburg is he can be something he thought he could never be here. In
Ah.
reverse.
Brave enough to shell.
Not even no, Ukshela is the thing, but
Yeah.
I think it more like I've always liked music, and Gasekai, they think music is lame, is for lame type of thing. So then
Yeah, there's a whole
there's a
culture.
whole culture around it. I can dive into the subcultures you can dive into, get
Ah.
multiplied. So then you can express yourself way more acutely. Way
It makes
more.
sense.
So then you become a different human. Then because I remember being in Cape Town, I'd come back, oh, Durban, so behind. Oh, the parties here suck. But it's just because that the promoter thinks like a Joburger in Joburg. The promoter thinks like a Durbanite in Durban. The
Yeah.
promoter thinks like a Cape Towner in Cape Town. So that's how you make money. So
Yeah,
unfortunately,
but I'm
Durban's
having
so big, it doesn't need
me
other
and
people.
me and Prof call it Salt Diary, Salt
Salt
Chronicles.
The
Salt Chronicles in
Oh, wow.
Durban.
So it happens because more than anything, what I hate about
And I'm
what you
single,
guys-
guys. I'm single. Like
Yo, call up Nani. Her number's
I'm-
071.
658 and
I'm single.
just find her on Facebook.
Find her on Facebook. She's lonely. She might reply to your DMs.
you
yeah,
know,
well.
like, but like,
And she's got 4 kids.
I bet you something doesn't tell about those 4 kids. There's a reason why I've got 4 kids, guys. Yeah.
Same daddy.
No.
How many daddies? 1 for each kid.
No.
Sorry, kid.
Two Azim kids, 1 Nigerian and 1 South African.
Down. Like on that bombshell of kids. Prof, do you have anything to ask the lovely old lady
What about kids?
Hold my foot.
about anything?
Hold my
anything.
foot.
We can speak about relationship dynamics.
Yeah, we want to find out about your marriage. How's marriage?
Guys, marriage is like, for me right now, I now, being out of the marriage, feel like marriage is overrated.
Did you
Right?
feel like that during the whole 21 years?
No. So, luckily for me, I got a partner that was my friend before he was my lover. And he was my bestie and my friend, and I still love him till today. But
But
yes, there's always a but. But I found out also you get too comfortable to a certain degree that you forget about each other. I think I had the most, and I always say this flamboyantly, lavishly, openly, and I say I had the best marriage because my marriage was an open marriage, right?
entanglement.
not entanglement.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
My marriage was like a
What-
proper open book
So
in
what
terms
does an
of
open marriage look like though?
an open marriage is whereby you're not being a judgmental cow. You're not prohibiting the other spouse from having external friendships or sex escapades, or you're not limiting your relationship into being a pod.
Okay. So when
Right.
you say okay, let's speak about the sex
So-
escapades, right?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to build what were the rules fundamentally?
There
That's what
are
I'm
no
asking.
rules. So the only
you-
rule
the
that
person
me
was
and my
allowed to go
ex-
repeat sex.
The only rule that me and my ex had
Yeah.
was that our kids should never wake up to us at 4 a.m. At like whatever time they woke up, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. They should never wake up and not find the parents at home.
Yeah.
Right? Because we found out that we can hang with our own friends to our own accord. And at 12 o'clock, it's when, before that whole nonsense of the club scene getting shut down at 2, you could party till the morning. And there's still some places where you can
Well, when
still
the
party
golden
till.
days, the golden era
you
of
know?
Joburg.
There's still some places in Joburg that you can party till the sun rises. But we would have to be together if we do that, right?
yeah.
I still believe that a man takes his manhood with him every time he leaves the house. I strongly believe that even after marriage, because I can't dictate what you're gonna do with your dick.
No, but I've
Right?
married you, and
And
because I've
even
married
though
you,
I've married you,
No,
bro,
but you- but come on.
stop controlling other people's
but you
children
love
because
me.
of
You said you love me.
I love you, but I'm not gonna keep you cooped up and locked up in a fucking cage
If
because
you
I
fuck
love
her,
you.
that means you
So-
don't love me.
No! Listen, guys.
So was the same freedom afforded to you as an individual then?
Yes, listen. The only thing that I am respectful about, and of which I know that men take offense to, is you cannot tell your husband that you want a twosome with two guys. You know?
Oui.
That for him is demeaning to a certain extent of manhood.
Yeah.
Right? It's dick comparisons, right? So imagine if my husband ought to whip out his
Clashing swords.
You understand? And then this other cat whips out like a 12-inch. Already he feels like, oh shit, my marriage has gone to the pits. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you
So
destroy
you
his
don't
self-esteem.
you don't destroy a person's self-esteem in that manner. You just go and fuck somebody else out there and then you come back. Or you go and have that experience out there and then you come back, right? And then you would have gotten over it. So me, I believe that personally, I'm not saying all women should do this, but I believe, and this is something that I am trying to instill with a lot of people, not even girls or girls only, but guys as well. Have an open relationship whereby it doesn't matter who says I love you first, who wants to commit first, but have an open relationship whereby sexually you're expressing yourselves the best way you know how. Meaning, don't be afraid to do anal and come and tell me bullshit that anal is for white people or for gay people. There's no such. Right? Don't come and tell me that licking dick is a white woman syndrome only, because this is why black females are hating on white women, because they say white women give out blowjobs better than black chicks, right? Be the best at whatever that is that you're doing, right? Suck the dick, become one with the dick. We've had this Queens of Comedy show already.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Talk to your partner and spouse about what satisfies you sexually. Watch porn if you must with your partner to try out new shit. Right?
Can you imagine?
Like-
baby. You see, when he puts his leg
Guess what? I've
over
done
here,
that. I've
that's
done
when
that.
you're going.
Guess that. I've done that. I've done that. And I've said, babe, I'd love to experiment on that style. And we experimented on that style. Because the fact is, men will always cheat. It's a norm, right?
That's not true. Not all men. Not all
I
guys.
don't think men will always cheat.
Eh?
I don't think men will always
Listen,
cheat.
Yeah.
listen.
Sometimes
I
guys
say,
can't afford to cheat.
I say men will always cheat in a sense of men's minds get distracted very easily, right? And the distraction is not sinful or harmful or anything that's got to do with like physics or
Good and
biology
bad, yeah.
or good and bad. It's
So in
not
that sense, it
intentional,
depends how you define
right?
cheating. Then
Cheating in a sense of a man can fuck a prostitute and be loyal and love his wife and not be on a cheating sense.
But how could you embarrass me
Do you understand?
and my family?
But it's not even about that.
How
For
can
a
you-
guy,
what about
he
your
was
kids?
he went escorting a guy who went to a strip club who's one of his friends who's going through a tough time, and then prostitutes were there, and he just decided, I've never bought a prostitute, let me try it out. What about that? It's also about trying out shit.
Prof.
So listen, guys.
Let me try it out, dog.
I will allow. I
when
will
I'm down and
allow.
out, dog, let me try it out, dog.
Listen,
Let me try it out.
me,
dog.
I will
the one
give.
that,
I will give my husband money
Red Velvet.
to go and buy.
Have you heard of Red Velvet? Have you used Red Velvet?
No.
Red Velvet is like an escort.
yeah, it's an
website.
escort site. They're advertising themselves on billboards and shit.
Oh, that's nice.
It's like,
Yeah.
So
I was like,
I
South
don't
Africa.
mind. Mina as unonika is in. I don't mind giving a husband money to go and buy, because especially my job is demanding. I'm not there half of the
I feel
time,
like
right?
This specific
Would you mind
dynamic-
as Timbu?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I feel
carry on.
like this specific dynamic demands a lot of maturity from both sides, because like a lot of men would be cool with the idea of like, yeah, I've got the freedom to go fuck around, but they're not cool with the idea of their wife having the same freedom.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That not all men are what's it? What's the word? Susceptible.
What's acceptable?
Yes.
That's for dealers.
They're not they're not as open-minded, because remember the tradition of men is that uyindoda, umfazi ngowakho, abafazi ngabakho. You run that shit. You control the sexual aspect. The ratio of what you can do in bed is determined only by you. We must be submissive, right? Which it worked. That fuckery worked up until the early 70s, actually, when there was red light district. That shit was starting to decline.
Red light district
in Netherlands.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
shit
place
started
where
to
the people get
deteriorate.
shit.
Where you could buy prostitutes like freely and openly.
Sure, it's not a South African reference.
No,
situation.
but like when
ludicrous.
and then we came up with like saying, yeah, they are sex workers but not prostitutes. You understand? Like already it was coming from eons of years of being something that's sorted. So I respect. Mina, I've got friends that are workers in that game, and I respect them. You understand? Because
Still have fries with them. Still drink with them.
do you see what I mean? Because
but
it's a
still
job.
human. It's just
It's a job.
a way of
And I've
paying
asked,
bills.
I wanted to actually do a documentary on sex working as a job and as a means to an end. But then a lot of people actually had done it, and those questions would have just been the same answers. So it's either
Like,
I
cool,
go,
let's flip it on his head. Let's go do the same documentary just with trans people.
yeah. So I like, honestly speaking, I respect the women that entice and satisfy people's husbands, right, in order to keep their marriages, because any marriage needs to be spiced up. Imagine you eating rice and chicken Monday to Monday to Monday to Monday,
And then skip a week.
and don't skip a week.
No, skip a week for the periods.
No. No, even if there's periods, there's some couples that do it even when they're on their periods, right? So let's say through and through, you are eating one digestive diet. That is going to cause you a hernia of all sorts. Like you're gonna have heartburn. You're gonna get.
So you don't believe that
I believe that
You don't
men.
believe in monogamy.
Yeah, no, I don't, honestly. I believe that men was created to satisfy the pleasures of a lot of people, and women with
But what
our
about love?
with
Let her finish the statement,
with
I wanna hear.
our flowery butterflies down there, we were not only a root canal for reproduction, we also like the post coil of pleasure and intimacy.
But what about love?
So love does not pay the bills. Let's be honest about that
Yeah,
shit.
but it's not about paying bills. It's about maintaining relationships.
Listen, love. There's so many people. Our forefathers learned to love each other.
Yeah.
Whereby there's still so many arranged marriages between cross cultures and all of that shit that's still existent even today, right? So love was never, and I repeat, never about just loving people to infinity. So you can love. This is where the misconstruedness goes in. You can love your family because you can't run away from it. You can love your family members unconditionally, even though they can be full of shit and all of that. You must love them unconditionally, right?
Yeah.
And then you can only love unconditionally your children that you birth. Me, you going out and you fuck me over, I can tell you, fuck you, I don't love you anymore, and go love him. Do you see what I mean? So you can't tell me that I'm married to you and it's gonna be for eternity. That's overrated fucking fiction.
Goddamn. Just closing off. What would you say, your in terms of like the upcoming generations? One, jobs and creative industry. Two, relationships.
Jobs right now, I feel like the youth is trying to create their own sphere of innovation. Everybody is no longer, nobody believes in government's system of creating jobs for the people. We've
Yeah.
seen with the depopulation of the jobs actually decreasing. So people are more now into innovation, innovative thinking. You've got people doing about t-shirts, branding, doing their own sneakers, doing their own shoes. You've got people being creative now. They're thinking out of the box, which is, I see the future of AI growing in South Africa in the next couple of years. It's already started, whereby people are imprinting their own visions of now creating, becoming more like China. We're becoming more like China in terms of we finding our own niches, if I can call it that, whereby we're creating our own identity as per work spectrum and what is in demand. So nobody is aspiring to go and become a clerk at fucking Foschini or Truworths or whatnot.
I think I love Juju said that. It's like somebody's like, Juju, how are you fighting for the poor and you're busy living it out in a pizza? It's a chief. We're not fighting to pay an Alex.
Yeah. So we are all fighting now to become our self-made millionaires and creating. This is for the first time where I see Black people are big into innovation.
Yeah.
And I love it because now we've got business owners that own mines, that are creating cements, that are creating fucking lights, that are designing things. Like Black people are now getting the wake-up call. There's kids that want to do coding, that are with, there's people who are even aspiring to change the narrative whereby finances are acquired, right?
I think building up industries.
We now starting to craft our own future in terms of work.
And the beautiful thing is that the barrier to entry is just at its lowest it's ever been.
Yes.
For a majority of industries, like what you needed a factory to do 10 years ago, you can probably do with two 3D printers in a one-bedroom flat.
In your own house. Yeah, so
and it's amazing and scary at the same time.
Nobody,
Amazing
even in a Zozo, you're finding people are watching fucking DSTV. They've got cars. They've got, like nobody's taking poverty as a serious element now.
I think that was the most mind-fucking thing to me. I think it was 2010, around during the World Cup, funny enough. I was shooting a Kailicha, and I think it was the closest proximity I've ever gotten to shacks. And in a shack, we're shooting in a shack settlement, a community. And the amount of things that I see, I thought, like computers, hi-fis, like they had everything you thought wasn't people.
It was
they
just
too
a lack
poor
of
to afford.
housing. Yeah.
So like that was a mind fuck for me. So it's just a lack of housing. You're right.
Yeah.
For me, I think that should be like, for me, the actual warfare is to make sure that the most poor person on earth has a life actually worth living.
Yeah.
So if we like as a planet, if we can get to that, then I think we're actually winning. Because
we almost became a slums party.
Yeah.
But right now, all of that is changing. A lot of people are moving out of the township. Nobody's scared to go and live in the suburbs anymore. People are vigorous out there. They're like competitive. They like the people are the real pit bulls right now. We're pinning and we were sort of like winning the war against poverty. I think one step at a time. Then when it comes to current relationships, this independence bullshit and fucking name calling each other out and going men are trash, females this gender, who's gay, who's not, it needs to stop. Because at the end of the day, what you do with one person behind closed doors has got fuck all to do with a third party.
Yeah.
Let's stop videoizing each other and taking this dirt and filth into like now the new game of society is blackmail of sex tapes, right?
You talking about Ugogo Abantu?
You know, not even her. It's been happening to a lot of other people. It's been happening to a lot of other people. Let's stop exposing each other in our most vulnerable, sensitive.
Destroying.
Let's stop
Yeah.
destroying
Destroying
and bringing,
black
tearing.
people.
It's not even about being black, dude. It's just as a race. Listen, in my head, I don't see black. I don't see white. I don't even see fucking Chinese or Indian, bruh. I see individuals. If you make sense as a person, I don't care what skin color you are.
But other people do.
I don't care though, because I've always had an identity crisis happening in my head. So I don't care about that. What I care about is the respect of somebody's intimate moment. Look, shooting porn, which I've tried by the way, shooting.
All right. So you got fucked.
It's another story for another day.
You gotta
Is
do that.
it is a technical, there's a technical element to shooting porn, right? You don't have to be turned on to shoot porn, right? You don't have to videoize yourself having sex with somebody in order to be validated that you can make a person come. Do you see what I mean right there?
A sex tape CV.
You
demo.
don't need a sex tape to validate your manhood or your femalehood. Leave the women that want to hang their titties out there and walk around in G-strings. Leave them be. That's their own accord, right? Don't be zealous over that. Just clap and move on. Leave the guys that want to hang their dicks around and show and be drinking pills, pop pills to make it longer, to make it 10 centimeters or 10 inches or 1 pole inch, and then they can't feel leave those niggas alone. It's not to your own accord. Leave it alone. But this thing of we want to categorize relationship based on whose stature or financial capacity that we're on, who's born without problems, who is having a big dick, who is toilet and who didn't toilet. This is how romantically. Who's got a front?
Who's got a PBL?
You know what I mean?
This is how romantically what?
This is how romantic you are because you look good on the Insta. No. Stop it, guys. It doesn't ayaki. It's not building.
Yeah, but people
Right?
eventually figure
It
it
is
out.
not building sex. Who smashed who, how, what? That it's got no ratings.
Who
It's not
cheated?
content. It's not content. It's got no ratings. Like rather go on TikTok and go find some creative ways of fucking making content.
Yeah, but I think I also don't think it's as big as we feel it is because like idiots are loud, and
People in proper relationships with silence in their proper
Yes.
relationships.
so it's like the
Best
things that
believe you
there's-
me. Now there's a new breed called the false relationships. And I know this because there's somebody out there right now who is busy doing the 12 steps of how to separate from their popular relationship on Insta and on TikTok, that they now want a validation from the society of their followers to let them know that it's all right to get divorced.
Yeah, but that's
Right?
the new world we live in.
So
new
the
world,
new
yeah.
world now is that you wake up, you put up a story on how am I brushing my teeth? How am I applying on what? How am I putting on a bra? How am I combing my hair? How am I kissing my boob this morning? How am I... Guys, I've always said this. This is where it becomes dangerous. I tell my girls, I tell my boys, don't post your partner. One, if you want peace in your life,
Don't post your partner.
don't fucking post your
Why?
partner. Because there's some other cat out there, you as a guy posting your bootylicious girl, who's gonna go, I wanna fuck Prof's girl. Right? And
Like,
then
out of
there
fear
is some
of somebody coming for
listen here. And they're not just gonna follow your girl and stalk them on the gram or Facebook or whatnot. They're gonna pop up each and every place that you are not at. Because you are fucking giving them the ammunition of where the fuck you are every second of the day. They're gonna pop up and follow your profile on what is it that you do for her. So you bought her roses on Monday and she said, "No, boo, got me roses." This nigga is gonna bring roses. I'm at 200 rand. Not just
basically
flowers.
play your game, but
And play your
try
game
outgame
and
you.
beat you at your own motherfucking game. And you wonder why men are crying on memes and go and becoming memes. It's because you are
what,
fucking
do you know
posting.
people who've done this?
Yes. People are posting.
So you know
their
men
own-
who've invested this
Yes.
much into
Because
breaking
they
a
want
relationship
how
apart.
do you think the celebs get to bounce
the thing.
off from this guy to that guy within their own pod?
Probably
Right?
know this, though. You know the internet is dangerous.
Yeah, I do,
You know
but
there's crazy people in the world.
but
She's
also,
just
I
telling
don't-
you
I
that
don't
she's
sh- I
met
don't
those people.
share a lot of shit
No, but
to start with. So it's like
exactly.
there's a lot of subculture things which I'm not.
You're so
Playing the
normal. You're so normal.
Not
You're
Look,
so
but what
normal.
I'm-
normal.
What we were talking
yeah.
about.
No, I'm no.
Prof,
You're
we
normal.
were not attacking you.
No,
I'm
I don't feel
saying
attacked at all.
I
don't worry.
made an
I'm just-
example
I'm just
because
jumping into the psychology
I made an
of it all.
example because we were. Silo asked me, "What do I think about marriage and relationships and this
Yeah.
future?" And I'm saying,
You're saying
"Whoa,
protect
guys,
your shit.
whoa, protect your shit. If you want peace, stop posting your life
Yeah.
stories." I was
Day by
one
day.
of those. I was one of those girls. There's a person that really cares about me, right? Who loves me unconditionally, and I love him unconditionally, and we should be married. But yeah, life doesn't want us to be there like that. This dude, I had just bought me an iPad, a MacBook Pro, a Sony, those small speakers for the editorial suite, and a desk from Mr. Price, and I created my own editorial suite in my bedroom, right? So I'm like proud. I've got my iPhone here. I've got my MacBook here.
7Z.
Like in their poster, I'm like, here, look world. And I posted that shit on Instagram. Do you know my friend, when he saw it, I said, take that shit down. And I was like, oh no, more nalo. And this is like over 10 years ago, young Ton. I was like, oh no, more now. Why should I take my shit down? He said, one, you're new to Instagram because you're a dummy. I said, well, who the fuck are you calling a dummy? He said, you've got your address, your location pin on your fucking status. One.
Bazofika abafana.
Two.
They know exactly where to go.
Abafana bazofika bazoyithatha. Bazothatha yonke leyo nto leyo. And you'll be robbed. Three, you are showcasing what you've just bought. How do you feel that people that you might even owe $10 to are actually feeling right now? That you've just bared all of this shit out there for
Yeah.
them. You understand? That's inconsiderate. And you've just put your entire family at harm's way over what? A 5-second clip or post that is going to be there for the rest
I
of
guess
your
that's
life.
one way of looking at it. Yeah.
No, but it's like you can do like
And
it wasn't
I
about her
looked-
posting a
It
setup.
wasn't
was,
about
No.
me
it was
posting-
about her
you
not
take me-
knowing the
this is-
world.
this
knowing
me,
the world, and that
where-
for me.
Anybody who knows me on social media and hasn't seen me in person for a long time has no idea what car I'm driving. Whereby I know so many people are like, oh, you just bought a new car.
Do you see?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's
and
like-
then- and
So
then-
if you had
and then
malicious
some other
malicious
idiots-
thoughts,
some other idiots don't even know that when they post their cars, they're supposed to blot out their number plate, because you can get somebody's address
yeah.
via the fucking number plate. You can literally go to the traffic department and say, this person had road rage. I'd like to report them. I'm opening up a case. Can I have the address? The SAPS wants the address.
Yeah, for all the
And you
criminals
can get
listening right now.
So, like, people, stop putting yourselves out there because of the stories that you think are fucking content and they're not.
I think they've seen other
Because-
people doing it more than anything.
Because you are putting yourself at harm's way.
Yeah.
Stop trying to become. You don't see Oprah and her man. What's
But
that
we all
guy?
know Oprah's a billionaire, though.
But we
listen
see
to
But
this.
we don't
though.
know where she stays.
Listen to this. You don't see Jay-Z and Beyonce on a fucking Instagram waking up story and whatnot.
But the baby, you see the baby.
The baby's got her own account that the secretary for the baby, there's somebody appointed for
You
Blue.
you don't know that.
No, even Kyra's got her own a person that runs her grandmother runs her Instagram page. So listen here. What I'm saying is that if you don't see billionaires and millionaires doing that shit and they only post specific shit like being on the yacht and just giving you a teaser of their lifestyle, stop posting your entire world, because I've got a feeling Uguti Scream, the movie Scream, is coming in real life.
And the music video, by the way.
Like Scream is manifesting in people. We will see somebody standing behind there and you don't.
100%. Thank you so much, Nani, for coming through again for part 2 of the infamous missing
Yeah,
part 1.
for the part 1 that will never be seen.
I mean, I might drop it. I didn't delete it. I just saved it onto another hard drive. So, AI might help us in the future. And just,
Sure.
we've got a mic.
Alright,
It's just
cool.
not perfect.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Cool,
yeah,
cool,
yeah.
cool.
Thank you so
And I
much.
hope today's shit actually got in.
Yeah,
Like we spoke so much. I think it's 2 parts.
No. I just double checked. We're double backed up. Like the double backup failed last time. We're so.
I know she's talking about this podcast
I'm
being
thinking
dropped in 2 parts.
This should be
Like,
it's so long.
part
It
1 and
should
part
be
2.
Part 1
We
and
can,
part
just
two.
for the fuck of
we
it, I
can.
guess.
It's because I love you, and you know. Anyway, radio.co.za, deeplyrooted.world. That's where you
Black
can
House
catch it.
Talk.
So you can catch everything.
Thank you, Noni,
know.
for gracing
Thank
us
you
with your
guys for
presence.
having me. Crazy
Yeah.
matters. Love
Yeah.
you lots.
I'll see you at work in 3 weeks.
Black House Talk.
Black House Talk.
Black House.